Hello YouTube and Patreon, this is Nathan P. Butler, and this is our project update for the month of March 2020. It's a little bit earlier in the month when I'm recording this. I believe it's the 21st right now, as opposed to a little bit later in the week. That is because things are going to get a little crazy busyness-wise. Busyness? Business. No, not business. In terms of being busy, later in the week and heading into that first week of April, I wanted to make sure not to miss getting this recorded for you guys. So, light outside, middle of a day, let's get into it. So first, let me thank all of you who are backers over on my Patreon. That, of course, is patreon.com/NathanPButler. We have first the Travelers through the Butlerniverse, folks who do that dollar tier and are able to get in the thanks and the credits here on these types of videos, but also onto that Patreon credits page in the second edition of a saga on home video, which we'll talk about in a little bit. The Travelers at this point include 3 individuals. Assuming this is filtering correctly, I'm using a different interface here for Patreon this time around, so I apologize if I miss anybody, but I shouldn't. We have Austin Pierce, Ben P. Stein, and SW Chris. Then, of course, we have the Denizens of the Butlerniverse. That is the most prolific tier. That is the $5 tier that gives them what the $1 tier got, but also gets them access to those audio commentaries I put out at least twice a month, primarily for Clone Wars right now, though there have been a couple for Forces of Destiny. If you'll indulge me, I do need to look at the list for this, because it is a much longer list of people here. We have Andrew Gilbertson, Bobby Craig, Chris Lewis, Daniel Marchant, Gary Sherwood, Jason Hunt, Jeff Ellis, Jeremiah Mustard, Joy Zitzman, Joseph Blankenship, welcome by the way, Kyle Pellery, Robert Medina, Stephen Malicia, I think I said it right that time. Then we have Travis Taylor, and we have Walker Langstrat. Then we have our Nobility of the Butlerniverse. They get what the $5 and $1 tier folks got, but also get access to that exclusive Q&A video every month, where they get to ask questions and get them answered on an exclusive video just for the Nobility of the Butlerniverse group. That group has grown recently, so now we have a total of 8. We have Aaron Melzak, we have Ennis, we have Andrew Bettis, we have Benjamin Handelman, Brian Snook, Jonathan Comfer, Matthew Hardesty, and Sam Howard. So it's good to have you all as part of the family, so to speak, over there on Patreon. If you are part of the Nobility of the Butlerniverse, make sure you get your questions in, and I'll go through and answer them in the next Q&A video, of course, at the beginning of April. So let's see what has come out in the last month. There's not really a whole lot, and I know I'm kind of speaking fast. I'm trying to actually move a little more quickly this time, primarily because it's turning out that with all the craziness going on, COVID-19, coronavirus, and all that kind of stuff, it hasn't really affected the day-to-day for me in the way it has for a lot of people. Like, oh, you're a teacher, so now you're teaching from home, right? Well, yeah, but I was already doing that. Aside from the fact that sometimes I would have to go to meetings at a different location, us online teachers, full-time online teachers, teach primarily from home. It's a lot of phone calls, it's a lot of monitoring the system, grading things, providing feedback, and stuff like that. Sort of that one-on-one instructional stuff. But from the standpoint of actually changing where we go, aside from changing meetings to online meetings, there hasn't been a lot of change in that sense. But the kids are home now. We have no idea when Fulton County, Georgia, or the state of Georgia will be having kids go back to school. Which you would think would mean, oh, well, that's a lighter load. Well, it is if you're a traditional classroom teacher. Sure, it's a little bit of a lighter load, and you're having to get used to the whole teaching online thing. But the requirements are a little bit lighter than if you were in a traditional classroom. Our job stayed the same, and with the kids at home, the amount they're actually working on their online courses has shot through the roof. Now, that's a good thing, but it also means I'm constantly, going and going and going. It's a very exhausting 12-hour stretch that we're on call on most weekdays at the moment. So, not a lot of time to get other stuff done during the week. My wife, it's kind of all hands on deck at the hospital where she works. So even for her particular department, like the nutrition and whatnot area, like the cafe and all that kind of stuff down there. So in her case, she's there constantly. She's been working a lot of early mornings and having to be tested for COVID-19 herself, along with the entire staff, because there may have been exposures there. Fun stuff. But with all that going on, most of the other stuff that just day-to-day needs to get done around here, I have to cram into the weekends. And typically, much of that stuff is stuff that I could do with my son in his playpen or at my side in this room. But some of it is stuff that requires somebody else to be watching him, which only tends to happen for basically one afternoon per weekend, which is my chance to record, hence this, and mow, because it's middle of March, and this is already the second time I'm having to mow because, Atlanta area. So, kind of zipping along here, hopefully there. Although I probably just ate up so much time explaining why I'm zipping along to completely negate the actual zipping along aspect here. The last project update was posted on February 23rd, so what has happened since then? Not a whole heck of a lot in terms of things I've actually been able to put out. Again, very busy around here, but at the same time, it is sort of forcing me to spend more time working on the book, Saga on Home Video 2nd Edition, because that's something I can actually do in the other room. I can do it when my son's in his playpen, I can do it late at night when everybody's falling asleep, and that sort of thing, which has actually kind of pushed me into that realm. So there is progress being made on the book. In fact, I actually just went in and had to write a new section specifically about how COVID-19 had an effect on Star Wars releases, because of course they released Rise of Skywalker digitally 4 days early. Frozen 2 wound up being released on Disney Plus 3 months early. What's the other one called? There's a recent one, Outbound's not the right word, but there's another movie that had just come out. No, Onward's what it's called. Just came out in theaters like 2 weeks ago. It's already about to hit digitally, and then in a matter of days it'll wind up showing up on Disney Plus. All the things that Disney's doing, on the one hand, to try to sort of, be nice to fans while everybody's at home. And on the other hand, get at least some money coming in because holy shit, all their parks are closed. That kind of situation had to be covered, of course, in the book in order to really kind of give the context of it. Because that's what a Saga on Home Video is. It's not just a catalog of home video items. It is a running narrative, a narrative history of Star Wars home video stuff. So I've sort of pushed into that angle there and been able to get more writing done recently and, taking pictures that I've already taken, cropping them down, putting them in. But that's just not something that lends itself to being able to be in here recording. It's something I can do at other times. So, again, not a whole lot of stuff released since that last update. And now I guess I don't have to tell you how the book stuff's going. That is how the book stuff is going. Work is proceeding apace on a Saga on Home Video 2nd Edition. I hope to take more pictures sometime within the next week or two and get more stuff written and done, but it is coming along very, very nicely. I'm really excited for you guys to be able to see that later this year, assuming everything goes well. So over on Patreon, what is new? Well, of course, we had a couple of commentaries. We had the episode Overlords, which is the beginning of the Mortis arc, on March 1st, and then on March 15th, we had Altar of Mortis, which is the second part of the Mortis arc. That does mean that on April 1st, fittingly I suppose, we are going to have the commentary released for Ghosts of Mortis that'll actually wrap things up when it comes to the Mortis arc and why it drove me nuts for so long and what's necessary to make sense out of the ending of it in order for it not to be very, very jarring. Should be an interesting one for those who are denizens or above to check out. We also, of course, had the 27th Nobility of the Butlerverse Q&A episode released on March 5th. As far as podcasts, nothing new from Cloud City Casino. No chance still to be able to record with Michael. He's still needing to get through Jedi Fallen Order and so forth. As far as Star Wars Beyond the Films goes, we have not released episode 246 yet. That's the one that is the other stuff of our year in review, because we're doing books, then the other stuff, then the comics, which has not been recorded yet. We did record 246, which is the one for the other stuff, TV, games, and that sort of thing. It's recorded, it's edited, it's gone off to Mark so that he can add the music and whatnot, and then actually post it on the website so it also goes out to the podcast feeds. But things have been kind of crazy on his end up there in Oregon, so we're just waiting for him to get a chance to actually do that so that can be released. So I expect that by the time of our next update, probably, if not right after this one posts, I'll be reminding him off and on, but I don't want to push him because it's a crazy time right now, and he's got several children now sitting at home with him quite a bit. So, we'll just gotta cut the world some slack, I guess, right now. Beyond that, not a whole lot out through YouTube this time around, because, again, haven't had a lot of time to sit down and record, aside from right now, because I'm dealing with all of that other stuff when I can't deal with it during the daytime. So, we haven't had much in terms of new releases. We basically had, 4 new episodes from the Star Wars Home Video Library, and they're all ones that I think I actually recorded either right after or right before that last update. So we have the Spanish Solo Steelbook in episode 257 of From the Star Wars Home Video Library. Again, this is on YouTube. That's the one where it's basically this international steelbook, but if you look at the J card and everything that comes with it, In the Spanish-speaking region, that's European Spanish, Castilian Spanish, you actually have Han Solo as the title, not just Solo. Then we had episode 258, which was the documentary I Am Your Father. We looked at a definite, legitimate DVD release from Australia of that, and a possibly legit, possibly not Blu-ray release of it from Spain, which, of course, is a hotbed of bootlegging activity. Steelbooks are pretty easy to find legitimately out of Spain, but other stuff is a little bit trickier. Then we had episode 259, where we looked at Force Tech Training, which is a mini DVD that comes with a lightsaber that's very similar to the old Force FX lightsabers, except not made of metal, not with rubber that's going to get all sticky and nasty over time, but yet another of these instances of a lightsaber toy packaged with a DVD of some kind. Then finally, episode 260, we took a look at something I've been wanting to show you for a while once I got it in my hands, and that was the Season 1 Clone Wars screener for The Clone Wars from Cartoon Network, which is that cool thing that had like the main box that you opened up and there was the lightsaber toy in it, plus the screener and so on. A very elaborate screener compared to the other ones that were out there. So that's basically it from the standpoint of stuff going on in this last month. I have not had a chance to record more from the Star Wars Home Video Library. I've got a few things to look at that are sitting on my shelves, but I need time to do a little bit more research with them. And of course, coming up in the very near future, we're going to have the Blitz, right? We're going to be taking a look at all the different releases for Rise of Skywalker from the US, eventually from the UK, eventually also looking at a Rise of Skywalker and Skywalker Saga set release from Japan, and of course we are looking at Skywalker Saga from the US and UK as well. So a lot of stuff in that regard coming soon, but of course they have to all be delivered or in one case curbside picked up. That's probably not how you say that, over at Best Buy. So we will see that stuff in the very near future. Again, podcast-wise, once Mark gets that last bit of tweaking done to the other stuff episode, that'll go up, and then we'll have to find a time to record for the next part of that year in review. Still waiting to find out what's going on with Michael so we can get some stuff going with Cloud City Casino. Just, you know, there's stuff on the horizon, but it's a crazy time right now. I'm considering, if I am able to, stepping back and doing some more of those mini Q episodes, those mini Q&A episodes, where basically I just put out a call and then pull questions from the comments and do the quick little videos because they're quick to record, quick to edit. The problem with that is I would have to find a time to record them, which probably means when everybody's asleep, which is one of the few times I get to deal with other stuff that needs to be dealt with. So again, I don't know if I'll be doing that. I may not. We'll just have to see. With that, though, hopefully next month will be a little bit calmer, but I highly doubt it. I hope everybody out there is well. Hope you're dealing with all the craziness around us in a healthy way, both in terms of staying healthy and not going crazy while trapped, sort of self-quarantined, isolated, and so on. So may the Force be with you. Hopefully things are going well. I wish you all the best. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in a month.